While it might not be as monumentous as the completion of the B skin line, the new and old Arcana skins are some of the best looking in League, bar one, with creative designs, an interesting aesthetic and great effects. And today, I'm going to rank and review all of them from worst to best. Real quick, before we get started, please consider liking and subscribing. There's this guy called Neocynical who overtook me in subscribers recently. In response, I've kidnapped multiple Polish orphans and have them perpetually editing videos in my basement so I can gain subscribers. But for every new subscriber, I will release one of them. It's kind of like those Save a Big Cat subscription services, except it's free. So what are you waiting for? With that out of the way, let's start the ranking. Now, those of you who watched my last video may know I have a bit of a thing for Unbound Thresh, and by thing I mean intense resentment and hatred for it, as it's a design that completely shits on and ignores Thresh's lore and proactively makes his character worse in an attempt to appeal to censors. I hate it because it makes a character whose lore describes how he willingly rejected humanity to become a vile monster turned into a sexy anime villain. I hate it because they did a much better design in Legends of Runeterra that didn't derail his entire character arc. And I hate it because it's not even improvement despite it being a canonical evolution. Now, while I don't hate Arcana Xerath as much as Unbound Thresh, hell, I don't even hate it, I just dislike it, it's still bad for the same reasons. Xerath is a being of pure energy and concentrated power. He, just like Thresh, rejected his humanity in hopes of becoming a god warrior, and while he became as powerful as an Ascended, he lost his physical form. What is it with Riot and making monster champs look like fucking hunks? Its design is not an improvement over Xerath's default look. It does not further the theme of the skin line by making Xerath human. If you wanted to make Xerath human so bad, why didn't you just make a skin of Xerath before his ascension? He basically had the same powers then, so you wouldn't even need to change much. In fairness, the effects and animation are really good on this one, but you'd expect that from a skin like this. Overall, Arcana Xerath is mediocre as a skin and baffling as a design. Fortunately, every other skin in this line is a banger. 4 out of 10, let's move on. Next up, we have Arcana Azya. Now, I want to point out, all of these skins from this point are great skins and are nowhere near as bad as Xerath. With that out of the way, my secondary problem with this skin is that it just kind of looks like a regular Azya skin. It doesn't try as much as the other skins in terms of design, except for the little card designs on her feathers, and while the animations or effects are good, they aren't nearly as good as the other skins on this list. But the biggest problem with this skin, and by extension the Rakon skin, is why aren't the lovers Graves and Twisted Fate? It was perfect. Twisted Fate literally has the card theme going on already. Amplifying that and giving it a cool red finish would have been awesome, much better than whatever Crime City shit we got for him last year. Not to mention, a writer at Riot literally confirmed that they had intended for Graves and Twisted Fate to be husbands and had written them to have an arguing couple dynamic, which you can see in their cinematics. I mean, just listen to their dialogue.
Well, by arrangement, we always split 50-50.
Nah, hold up, 70-30.
What are you talking about?
Get your elbow out of my mouth.
That is not my elbow.
Tell me these guys aren't married. Like, I swear to God, a ton of the Arcane fanbase have never played League or researched its lore, and they still want Vi and Caitlyn to fuck. People will go crazy for a Graves and Twisted Fate relationship, or just an acknowledgement of the concept. The opportunity is just too good to pass up, and I can't believe they did. 7 out of 10 for Arcana Azya, let's move on. Now, next up we have Arcana Rakon. Now, in terms of quality, I think it's basically the same as Arcana Azya, except I like Rakon more, so he gets extra points. 7.5 out of 10. What do you mean I'm biased? Shut up. When you're as much of a Chad as Rakon, maybe you will get bonus points. Now, at number 5 we have Arcana Lucian. Now, this skin's really good, especially the effect where tarot cards come out of his gun instead of shell casings. It's such a cool detail that fully embraces the theme of the skin line, while integrating Lucian's mystic gunslinger character, and I love it so much. But other than that, this is just an all-round solid skin. It looks pretty great and has some great animations, but nothing as exceptional as the skins coming up. Overall, it's an 8 out of 10, and I appreciate how it makes maximum use of the Arcana theme in its effects and design. You did good, right? Better than anything Lucian did in the entire Sentinels of Light of it. Next up, we have the face of League's R34 community, Ari, the High Priestess. Should Alawi have gotten this skin? No, honestly. While Alawi fits the theme more as she's literally a High Priestess, I think Ari's design and abilities lend themselves really well to this skin, much better than Alawi's more tentacle, Kraken, sea themed could. Her tails look insane and are so detailed, especially on the chromas. And Ari herself has a pretty cool look with an ornate mask, a new hairstyle that fits her surprisingly well, and a really cool and extravagant dress, which thematically feels very in line with Ari's character, while not being ridiculously sexualized to the point where it's laughable. I'm looking at you, Officer Vi! Animations and effects are once again stellar, and I should point out that it's so cool that when the Arcana champs recall, they form the pose of the character on their respective tarot cards. Great skin, gets an 8.5 from me. Now, coming into the top 4, we have Arcana Camille. I actually considered putting Ari in this spot for a while, since I couldn't recall why I liked Arcana Camille so much. Then I put on some fucking glasses. This skin nails everything I'd want from Camille. Her refined nature, her delicacy, and her ruthlessness are all perfectly captured here. The model is fantastic. The animations are probably my favourite of all the skins. They translate so well to Camille's gameplay and attacks. Particle effects are similarly amazing, and this is just one of the best Camille skins in the game, easily. 9 out of 10. Once again, number 2 is going to be a tie between two skins, because for some reason I have a crippling fear of picking the runner-up in lists, probably because of years of trauma derived from my brief stint in the Year 8 track team. But anyhow, Arcana Hecarim and Arcana Rise are equally good in my opinion, and I just can't choose between them. One of the things I admire most about this skin line is moulding champions who you wouldn't imagine to fit these roles and making them work so well. And the thing is, Arcana Rise and Hecarim don't really do this. Hecarim would be the first choice for the chariot, and the role of the Hermit Magician suits Rise well. But using the theme and colour scheme of Arcana, Riot created incredibly awesome and stylized depictions of these tarot cards that equally embody the character as well as the caricature they represent. Except for you, Xerath, piece of shit! And come on, just look at the designs. He got the lions, he got the pauldrons, he got the badass mask, he got the book and the animations that translate seamlessly into the theme of the skin line. Both of these skins knock it out of the park and are easy 9 out of 10s. But there is one more skin in the line. Is it as good as B-More? No fucking obviously, nothing's as good as B-More. Is it for a champion who recently had a mare rework that alienated a lot of his players? Sure. But Arcana Tahm Kench is so amazing. This skin is good for the same reason I ranked Bizarre quite high in my last skin ranking. They gave Tahm Kench massive demon horns, they covered up his glowing yellow eyes, they got rid of his trademark tentacle moustache, which depending on who you ask is a good or bad thing, they made his teeth gold fangs, they gave him a massive flaming crown floating above his head, they replaced his top hat with some kind of demonic portal that the Icon of Sin is going to burst through at any second, and yet it still looks like Tahm Kench. Not only that, even with all this shit thrown on him, it still embodies the themes and traits we all associate with Tahm Kench as the amalgamation of greed and hunger. It speaks volumes about how well designed this skin is when you can do all this to a model and still have him be instantly recognisable. Is it as good as B-More? No, nothing will be as ever good as B-More. Is it 10 out of 10? No, that spot's also reserved for B-More, but it is a 9.99999 out of 10. Thanks for watching, boys, hope you all had a good day. All music used was from sessions Vi and Diana, available on the Riot website, Spotify and SoundCloud, and all the footage for the skins was from Skin Spotlight, his link is in the description. Wow. The reaction to the last video exceeded my expectations, and welcome new subscribers. Hopefully you continue to enjoy my content, and once again, if you're new, consider subscribing. See you guys around.